Moving on to the next presentation, thank you very much. Would like to call for Giulia, Maria, and Apollonis from the Politecnico di Milano.
Yes.
And their presentation on the GREENWAY network proposal as natural-based solution for Limassol Cyprus. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Apollonis is going to share the presentation, so we can start. Can you see?
Yes, we can. Or it's coming up at least. Yeah.
Okay.
So here it is.
Okay, great. So we're going to show you this experimental project that we developed together with Professor Giulia Zorzi of Politecnico di Milano. The proposal is about a green network inside the cultural heritage urban city center of Limassol in Cyprus. And we are going to show you how we try to develop the concept of urban resilience in a real case study. Please, next slide. Okay. Urban resilience is defined as the measurable ability of urban system and inhabitants to maintain continuity through shocks and stresses and to adapt to a changing scenario. This is a very ambitious goal that can be pursued through many different strategies and actions, but among these, we think that nature-based solutions are a very powerful tool because they provide the intrinsic complexity of nature and they allow us to face complex situation, complex problem and changing scenarios. So we try to use this strategy. Nature-based solution has also been introduced within the European Union research framework since many years, and starting in 2011 also a lot of experimental projects start to be developed. This proposal belonged to one of these projects, that is the IADES project, and we also refer to a previous project that is the ENROUTE that already worked on the same case study we are going to show. So mainly, our project IADES has to deal with the two big fields of research. On the one side, the resilience and sustainable reconstruction of cultural heritage, and on the other side, facing and adapting climate change and other environmental hazards. We try to connect these two fields of research with the connective elements of nature-based solution and green infrastructure. And among the many possibilities of nature-based solution, we focused on two opposite approaches. On the one side, the big-scale approach of greenways and green corridors that, of course, have a very huge impact within the urban environment and provide a great benefit, and on the other side, the opposite and let's say minimalist strategy of pocket gardens and parklets that are really suitable to our case of study because of the lacking of available space. So we are going to show how we concretely develop this project following the logical order. So starting with the selection of the area of study and going on with the performing of spatial analysis to understand the density of urbanization and the ongoing transformation of the area, an environmental analysis to assess site-specific risk and climate change scenario, and finally our proposal, so the strategy for a green network. So I leave the stage to Apollonis.
Hello from me also. Introducing the area of study, the city of Limassol is located in the island of Cyprus in the Mediterranean Sea. The port city is in a vital position regarding trading routes and commerce, and due to the dry weather of the island, Limassol is an important touristic hub through its heritage. Following that, the map shows the urbanized areas surrounding the historical city, highlighted in the center of the map. The points of interest located in the central area, and the agricultural and protected areas that are located in the outskirts of the city. As we can observe, the city stretches along the coast, and while the main natural elements are very few, the city is surrounded by residential settlements on each side, except the western coast, where the Turkish Cypriot settlements were located in the small industrial complex that is now abandoned. Focusing in the study area, as we can observe, the historical center includes the central commercial area of the city. Indeed, the historical center is a vastly used area from tourists and locals, as the presence of commercial, public facilities, cultural monuments, and heritage sites indicates the importance of the area. Meanwhile, the public spaces are very few and fragmented, while the green spaces are almost non-existent, and the car appears as the predominant element of mobility in the site. The ancient castle is the heart of the historical center, and after the regeneration of the square, acts as a hub for all the surrounding activities. Following that, the recognition of the residual spaces is also important, as these would later be spaces for transformation, and these include some underused spaces like parking lots and empty fields. The study area has been under transformation with several projects taking place, from the regeneration of the Castle Square and the Mall of Seafront to the introduction of the Technical University of Cyprus, while other transformations include the Garilis River Linear Park, residential and commercial developments in the western coast, and the new coastal road introduced as part of the Sustainable Mobility Plan. And finally, one of the major attraction points currently in the city, the Limassol Marina. The Garilis River Linear Park was introduced as part of a wider green network proposal deriving from the en route initiative spreading across the city of Limassol. Located in the western part of the historical center, the park has been one of the few nature-based solutions introduced and has been welcomed by the citizens. Continuing to the proposal of the Sustainable Mobility Plan for the historical center, it proposes an ambitious transformation for the pedestrianization of the whole area, with the exception of a few one-way streets. Quoting part of the conclusions, though, the average Cypriots' attitude to their cars, which are unlikely to give up without a fight, suggests that their behavior have to change in general. For the environmental analysis, we had to take into account the trends and the emissions in Cyprus, as shown in the graphs. Even with the decrease observed, the number of accidents is very high compared to the rules set by the European Union. Very important is also the increase of number of warm days in almost all Cyprus. The severity of the increase in temperatures can also be seen by comparing the annual mean temperature distributions between the periods of 1986 to 2015. Over the last couple of decades, the greatest part of Cyprus has suffered from high temperatures, and the largest part of the population residing in the three major cities suffered high discomfort and serious socio-economic issues. Another issue has been also the noise pollution that can be observed in the historical city center. Based on the results of the presented report, Cyprus needs to take additional measures to reduce annual emissions in order to meet its commitments on the targets set by the European Union. Moving on to the final part of the presentation, coming to the strategical proposal, the solutions proposed to form the approach initiated by taking into account the existing open spaces and significant points of interest. By taking also in account the proposals of the Sustainable Mobility Plan, we can create a project that can keep the functionality of the area for the present services and the accessibility. Furthermore, by highlighting the main points of interest from cultural to religious to educational and municipal, provides us the opportunity to form a viable strategy that includes all the activities present. And as recognized before, the residual spaces can provide opportunities for the introduction of new activities based in natural solutions to enhance the proposed green network. For the initial introduction of the main activities axis, we take into account all the elements present, and by also considering the existing commercial activities, the green network is formed in the streets that regularly welcome an influx of people during the week. The secondary activities axis completes the proposal for the green network, as these spaces would be vital to providing the homogeneity and inclusion for the area that the proposal strives for. Finally, we can observe the spaces that form a green network that includes attraction points, transitional spaces, and pocket spaces for providing necessary breaks from the urbanized city. The activities proposed for the transformed streets will see the introduction of pedestrianized greenways that offers the flexibility of multiple typologies of spaces. This will be distributed based on each section of the axis and its surroundings. That includes permeable paths and greenways formed by local trees and plantations and water collection systems. For mitigating noise and air pollution, bicycle lanes were necessary and for the mobility, and open flexible spaces for the local shops to utilize.
So to conclude and sum up what has been said so far, we just want to leave you with this comparison among the current state of the center of Limassol and possible implementation of the strategy. Of course, this is just the first step of a project that must be implemented in many different phases. We hope that this project can go on within the IADES European project. Already in this first step, we plan the engagement of some key people from local institutions, but the objective is to enlarge the engagement, including also local population and citizens. And also we talk that this first step is still interesting because Limassol is a city with a lot of features and issues that can be recognized also in many other cities, mainly in the Mediterranean area. So also this first step, this proposal can be taken as an example for other similar situations to really adapt strategies that usually require larger spaces in a context that has no large space to implement such strategies. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much, Maria and Apollonius. It was really, really insightful.